Today is a very important day for me, dear viewers. My YouTube travel vlog has reached a milestone of 5,000 subscribers. So thank you very much for anyone who watched and helped me get here. And as a reward, I want to share with you 5 major lessons that I have learned along the way that will help you start your travel vlog, YouTube channel, website blog, or any other project that you want to get off the ground. And the first thing that you may be asking yourself is, why should I listen to this guy who's been doing this for less than a year and only has 5,000 subscribers? There are YouTubers out there who have millions of subscribers. And the reason is something called the curse of knowledge, which means that someone who is a real expert in a subject is so far removed from the novice that it's very hard for that person to put himself or herself in the novice's shoes. Sometimes you need someone who's just 1 or 2 steps ahead of you and not 10 steps ahead of you, and that's where I come in. So if that convinced you, let's get right into it. The first thing I want to help you with is getting started, which could be the most difficult thing. In the past, it was very hard because there wasn't enough information. You had to go to the library, sign up to a course, try to find experts who can teach you. And now it's the other way around. There's too much information out there on the internet and it can be overwhelming. So to cut through the noise, what I really suggest is to find 2 resources, one on Google, one on YouTube that you really like, one of these A to Z guides, and there are many of them out there on the subject that you're learning, filming, editing, blogging, or anything else, and to follow those guides. They will provide you some type of framework, tasks that you need to do, and then you'll be on your way and you'll be able to learn as you go along. Have you ever tried to learn a board game where someone's explaining for 15 minutes and then he asks if you understand and everyone's like, and then he says, okay, we'll start playing and you'll understand along the way. That's how this is. So those resources will help you get along the way and to start learning as you go. Of course, when you do that, you will make a lot of mistakes. Which brings us to the second issue, which is mistakes and how to deal with them. You need to have the right attitude and mindset towards mistakes because you will make them. Remorse over what went wrong and all the time and money that was wasted because of the mistakes that you made is the wrong way to go about it. Think of mistakes as a type of tuition fee that you pay in order to gain expertise in whatever it is that you are building or learning. It is inevitable, and as you go along, you will make those mistakes, but those help you to kind of understand and learn along the way. So it's really important to have that right mindset towards mistakes as building blocks for getting better. That's not to say that you should not try to avoid mistakes and to learn and to do things properly, but just understand that they will come and you need to have the right mindset of learning from those mistakes as you make them. So how to deal with those mistakes and challenges after they come along, when you have that guide on how to film or edit and it's just not working like the guide says. Why isn't it working? Why is this happening to me? So fear not, it happened to me as well, and it happens to many other people. Don't despair, the answer is out there. And that's the advantage of what we talked about earlier, where you have all those resources out there. So some of the places that you can look are Google, YouTube, Reddit, Facebook groups. There was a group on how to edit with Final Cut Pro that really helped me with my editing problems that I had, for example. And even the old-fashioned just calling up a friend of a friend, or a family member who may know something about the subject. This is also where it's possible to veer away from those 2 original resources that you had, because any A to Z guide, no matter how good it is, will not have the answer to all of your problems. So you can look elsewhere and maybe even pivot away from a more beginner's resource that is no longer relevant to something new that you feel like is helping you more at this point. So do not despair. Look for the answer out there. I promise you that it's there, and you will be rewarded and you will be able to fix the mistakes that you made and overcome all kinds of problems that you have along the way. Now, the next thing I learned is really relevant to travel vlogging, but could help other people as well. What I realized that makes a really good vlog video is when you have it wrapped in a story with a beginning, middle, and end. So the video is moving in a certain direction, but there is a lot of room in the middle for all kinds of interesting things to happen, and most crucially, interesting interactions. Funny, scary, thought-provoking, or just day-to-day interactions even. That's what makes a really interesting travel video. You don't need really all of that fancy filming equipment, drone shots, great editing in order for this to work. As long as you think of a good story, you are open and searching out actively for those interesting interactions in the place that you are visiting, that can make for a really great video. And I think also, if you're building a website or a blog or a business or anything else, it's really important to kind of zone in on what is crucial for what it is that you're trying to build, and not to be overwhelmed by all of those fancy professional stuff that other people do. There is the basics, and if you get that right, even if you don't have a huge budget or you're not really taking things to the next level, you can create something that is of a lot of value. What I have here is essentially enough for vlogging. I'm filming with the GoPro right now, got my MacBook Pro with Final Cut for editing, my phone for some extra cinematic shots, an external hard drive where I keep the footage, and you don't even have to use a microphone if you don't want. It sounds a little bit better, but you can make do without as well. And finally, the last point that is super important is perseverance. Rome was not built in a day, and neither is a travel vlog, a YouTube channel, a website, or anything else. It takes time and perseverance and consistency. At the beginning, you have all this excitement and you want to work all day and build and do, but eventually you burn out from that a little bit and you have to set into some type of working routine. I try to get out a video every week and a half on average, and I think I've been pretty consistent with that. So don't bite off too much or more than you can chew. Make sure that you are consistent, and don't get overexcited when things go too well. Don't get too bummed out when things are not going well. This is something that takes time. You're in it for the long haul. I don't want this to intimidate you from starting. Definitely jump in there and get excited and get started. And maximum, if you get tired, then you tried, you abandoned, and that's it. But after you get started, if you really want it to work, then you have to understand that it's going to take time, perseverance, and consistency, and a proper work structure. Do not give up if at the beginning things are going a little bit slowly. Just persevere, and I promise you will see the rewards. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any other questions, then please hit me up in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you around. Bye-bye.